What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Chance Bishop Show for episode 97 of our MLB The Show 23, Baltimore's franchise mode here on the channel. The year is 2038. The Orioles are in a very strange part of their history right now. They went from winning, well, 3 straight World Series to missing the playoffs, to getting bumped in the wild card, and then to miss the playoffs altogether next year. So Baltimore, it's in a tight jam. We're also in the jam in the sense of, well, we can't really bring anybody in via free agency because we have a lot of aging veteran talent on this team. You know, a couple players have just retired recently that have taken up some big money contracts, like Grayson Rodriguez, Jack Leiter retired, and a couple of other players, but we've also had to ship out a bunch of players too. So the entirety of our outfield, first went Elijah Green and Drew Jones. Those were the first 2 to go. We were able to keep up Jason Dominguez, but we eventually had to trade him as well. But we still kind of have some of the players from that kind of core. We have Torkelson still. We have Luis Angel Acuna. We have Jackson and Gunnar Henderson. And we also have Adley Rutschman as well. Now, it's like, hey, what do we do here? Do we keep with it with a lot of these super core guys that have been here a long time? And then we kind of fill it in with the Trey Turners and the Bryce Harpers, and just kind of see how those guys do. On our bench, entirely computer drafted players right now. Bryce Harper, look at that. 700 career home runs for Bryce Harper. You love to see that. 23 years in the league, 700 home runs. Dude, he's chasing Jordan down here for, most home runs in MLB history. Let's be honest. Bryce Harper, Jordan Alvarez, both of these guys now with over 700 home runs. The rotation is entirely computer-generated players right now. There is not a single IRL player on this pitching staff. Unless, right? No Kerkering. Alright, Kerkering's not here still. Look at that. Demetrius Hartman. We've seen like we found our closer here. 57 saves year 1, 40 and 37, and then 32 so far this year at the All-Star break. A .69 ERA. Only 2 blown saves. Not too shabby. Coming into September, we're not making the playoffs. It's not happening at all. It is going to be a very long offseason here. It's going to be, I think, a lot of the same. 71 and 91, 20 games under 500. Yep, that is unfortunate for this team. It's kind of that same sense as the Royals defeat the Phillies in the 2038 World Series. It's kind of that same sense of our MLB The Show 22 series, especially at the end of that series where the Phillies had a lot of veteran talent on it. A lot of the old guys stuck around where they just wouldn't retire. And we wouldn't get rid of them, wouldn't demote them, wouldn't really do anything with them. We would just keep them around. And honestly, I feel like keeping them around kind of gave the AI in the game just that false sense of security where it's like, oh, well, these guys are still playing, so they're still good. Like, you're still putting them in the majors, so there's no reason for them to retire, right? And I don't know if that's the case on why the AI doesn't retire players. Because Aaron Nola was on the Major League pitching staff. Grayson Rodriguez was the Major League pitching staff. And so was Leiter. And Shane Bieber and all of these guys we've had retire recently from our pitching staff. All of these guys were all... they were all on the Major League roster, and the AI retired them. But when it's coming to guys like Bryce Harper, who's now 45... Trey Turner's also up there in age. They've been in the league for 20-plus years each, I guarantee it. If Trey Turner hasn't been 20 years, he is getting extremely close to 20 years, let's be honest. But it's very strange looking at how this team is going. We have no one retired. No one retired. Felix Bautista retired. I remember we brought him back for like a season for like $10 million a year for 2 years, and we're like, oh yeah, we can't do this. Mick Abel and Acuna both retire. That's unfortunate right there. Alec Bohm retires. Hunter Brown, the Justin Verlander duplicate, he retires as well. Let's see, any any big names here. Mackenzie Gore calls it a career. So does Josh Hader, Jonah Heim, Rhys Hoskins, R.I.P. Rhys Hoskins. I love me some Rhys Hoskins, dude. I'm a huge Rhys Hoskins fan. It still tears me apart that he's not playing for the Phillies currently. But hey, man, the Brewers seem like they like him. He seems like he likes the Brewers. We got Nick Pratto there. Good for him. Trevor Rogers had a really hot start with the Marlins and then kind of teetered off. Let's see. Dom Smith somehow still in the league. Kyle Tucker, he hung up the spikes. Thad Ward. There you got Ronald Acuna Jr. and Juan Soto. Both make it to the Hall of Fame. We got 2,400 hits, 500 home runs for Acuna. 2,800 hits and 636 home runs there for Juan Soto. Both players definitely deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. You love to see it. Both these guys at their peaks were some of the best players in MLB history. Let's be honest here. Acuna, Soto, and eventually I'm assuming Harper is going to join those guys there. Teammates of both of them, actually. Take a look at the lineup for next season. Gunnar, Holiday, Torque, Alvarez, Rutschman, Stevenson, Acuna, Turner, and Harper. We're just running it back. The same lineup. Nothing's changed here. And I believe the pitching staff is also the same here. Nothing has changed here either. I don't think anyone's different personally. I really don't know because it's all computer gen players, so I don't know who's who honestly on this team.